Welcome to Aging Untold. Vacation travel is supposed to rejuvenate us, but for many caregivers, a simple trip becomes overwhelming. In fact, a 2024 AARP survey found something striking. Nearly half of adult caregivers have avoided traveling with their loved one altogether, deterred by health concerns, logistical challenges, and worries about the unknown. But if travel is something you want to do, don't let those hurdles stop you. Amy, let's talk about how to plan a trip that works for everyone.
All right, let's first say you can do it. Let's not start off with you can't do it.
Right.
That automatically brings you down. So let's just think you can do it. I'd go to the CDC website. I'd check the destination page. I'd check what medical information you need to know, get all the background. I'd go to roadscholar.org and find out websites that have, or places, destinations that have a lot of accessibility to them. I think about a cruise.
Yeah, and a cruise is fun because people can do their own thing and then get together for dinner, and you've all, got to share in the experience. I was just thinking about, we used to always try to talk my mother-in-law into going to Florida to visit my son, but she just had a lot of trepidation about that trip, and we could have said, come on, we're going to go, and taken her, and I think she would have really enjoyed it. Maybe we still could do that. But as time goes along, it's maybe less likely. And we tried to say, oh, it's not, it's a direct flight. It's just this far to get picked up. But still, it can be intimidating.
Right. You got to remember, you can travel with an older adult, but you can't travel like you're 30. You can't plan a hiking trip with somebody that's 85 years old that's non-ambulatory or partially ambulatory.
You
could, but it's, you're going to leave them in the car and somebody's going to bust the window and it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So you've got to plan around the limitations that you have, and you've got to pack accordingly. You can't just get out there and think, okay, we're going to go across country because it sounds really good to go from the east to the west coast, and it's a great trip. But you got to do it in smaller bits. You got to make sure that you're planning for all of the things that they need, and you got to make sure that you can do it yourself as that caregiver, because you're doing care while you're traveling, and that can be super frustrating as well.
I agree with you. People say that you can't. But I think it's a misconception that people with dementia can't travel. Of course, it's not going to be across the board. You're going to have different stages of dementia. So some people can, and you have to evaluate that individually. But also, there's certain things you can travel with them, but there's things not to do. Don't overwhelm them. Don't get them stimulated. Remember, that brain has a confusion with what's going on in the world right now. So you have to create that calm. And then certain things like keep them relaxed. Don't travel late at night when it may be sundowning. Try to travel when they're alert. And you know what? As a caregiver, get help. See if somebody else can go with you.
Right.
Exactly. I had one client that went with somebody with dementia, and they had a little card, and when they got into a little stress with how they were behaving, they just handed out the card saying, my husband has Alzheimer's.
Right.
And it kind of calmed her down to say, everybody understands, just like a terrible 2-year-old, some are more patient than others.
Right. You can do what's called the PACE system. So you're going to plan the pace, which needs to be slower. You're going to assist the body in the mobility and in the movements. Comfort's always got to be first. So you don't want to be sitting for 8 hours in a car if your skin's breaking down, if you're somebody that's a little older, a little more frail. And you need to have an exit strategy. I don't care where you're planning on going. Make sure you have an exit strategy to get back home in the event that it doesn't go well.
And then give yourself extra time.
Yeah.
You can't do it at the same time that you normally would before.
Right. So you've really got to protect the stress level, the sleep schedule, all of that. Make sure everyone is staying hydrated. Think about extra things like support hosts, planning support for your travel equipment, keeping your medications with you. So all of these things will pay off in planning.
Yeah. And I think you can plan the trip according to the stage. So, maybe they can't take an 8-hour drive, but maybe they can take a 2-hour drive.
Sure.
Or maybe they can't fly all day,
Some of the best trips I've ever gone on are really close to home. And as long as you're packing accordingly, make sure that you have extra meds along the way, because you never know when you might get stuck out and about. Make sure that you have extra incontinence supplies, compression socks. Athletes travel with compression socks on. because edema is a real thing. That's the swelling of the legs when you're not moving about. And so making sure that you have those kind of things, extra hearing aid batteries, all the things that you think that you have there at home, take them. You can't overplan enough.
And when they're sedentary like that, every 2 hours, make sure you stand them up or so.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think to your point with the memory impairment, with the dementia, do a trial run.
Yes.
Like do a day, or do an overnight and see how it goes and what trouble you, and then go back and try to redo your plan so that you could do a longer trip.
Yeah.
But don't underestimate, like you were saying, the value of getting away from home and experiencing a different environment.
Yeah, as long as you've planned it to be fun, because the goal isn't really the perfect vacation, it's making meaningful memories while you go, and you
Sure.
don't want it to be a miserable experience. And I was thinking about take what you need with you. Now, like an RV, you can literally take your medicine cabinet and everything you need. So that's one reason why sometimes people enjoy RV travel.
Well, you would need a whole bureau for your jewelry. I mean, think about that.
Her makeup alone takes a
I
32
can
foot
take
class.
everything. We'll be back with more solutions just like that on Aging Untold.